waterboarded while being made to wear a surgical mask. Notice how that graphic is really clear on who the first two threats are. They're basically Trump voters. But that third one seems intentionally vague. So terror attacks could happen on...
How you going, everyone? Let's have a look at women's sport. Let's do it. That's a big hit. Should at least be 4 runs. Oh, no, Diol has caught it. No, she hasn't. Yes, she has. Bloody hell. That was brilliant. Meanwhile, over at the men's, yeah, that's an easy one. He's got it. Or has he? Kind of? Maybe. No, yes. No. Oh, bugger. It's okay, fellas. Don't get defensive. We know we're good at sport too. We are. Let's check out the women's soccer/football. Crikey, this is a gutsy run by Rodriguez. Go all the way. Men don't like passing either. Or fall over. No, she has a shot. Goal! She could have just fallen over here or in a few metres instead of having a shot. It's odd to see. Yeah, at the men's, Harry Kane, he's strong. Oh yeah, he's fallen over. There was surely some heavy contact that made him fall. No, not really. This is a good position for a shot. No, he's fallen over too. He got brushed. Lightly brushed. For Sabine Schmitz, I don't know what she said, Ich fleue mich hier zu sein or something nice like that. She was a hell of a driver. Let's cross over to the blokes driving.
Sammy, what are you doing, man?
I'm sorry, this was too much. Don't get defensive. We are good at driving. I know my gender is good at driving. What are you doing, Romaine? Stay on the road. Okay, not including this time. This was a one-off. I'm still shocked he survived this, to be honest with you.
Oh, Sammy, you're licking the car.
Maybe us blokes actually don't know our limits. We're naturally negligent. We don't mind putting our body on the line until blood pours out of our face. Weightlifting is 100% manly. Oh, okay, this Sheila wants to have a crack. No, don't be defensive. That's fine. It does look heavy. Oh, she's accomplished something great here. And she's not bleeding from the face. That's interesting to see. Almost responsible. You keep bleeding from the face, Ed. Get ready, here's Simone. Flippy 1, flippy 2, flippy, spinny. What? Oh. Like weightlifting isn't exclusive to men, gymnastics isn't exclusive to women. We can do flippy spinnies too. Yeah. Oh. Nailed it. Come on, be nimble. Nah. How good was Martina Hingis? I loved her when I was a teenager. I'd watch her all day. Whether she was receiving a serve, I'd watch her. Or if she was the one serving, I'd be watching. Just so many hours as a 13-year-old observing days, months, years of staring. Like, yeah, okay, so what? I had a fucking crush on her. Women watch men's sport when they're thirsty too. Sheila's bloody love fucking Rafa's ass, especially when he gives it a big old picky pick. Italian women's pole vault has a massive YouTube audience these days. Shit, I'm bloody sexualising athletes, aren't I? I didn't want to do that in this video. Oi, no, I didn't. Cut to women's surfing. Bethany Hamilton at Jaws, smashing it. Female participation in surfing has a really interesting history. No, fair dinkum. Check out the documentary, Girls Can't Surf. It's a cracker. I kind of feel like Australian football is doing the same thing to women that surfing did to women. The games are on at shit times of the day, outside of the season. They play on fields in the middle of butt-fuck nowhere, like Uncle Terry's farm. Just let us buy one ticket to the footy, we can watch the men's and the women's. Tennis does do that well. Ash Barty isn't playing months before Kyrgios and out on Uncle Terry's fucking farm. It's all good, guys. This video is just a bit of fun, okay? It's just a bit of fun. Don't get defensive. Just whack the like button, whack the like, and subscribe if you want to see more videos.
Wankers! I wonder what Miss Pelosi has to say.
Hello, peasants. As many of you know, women don't have rights anymore.
What's a woman?
And it's up to you to get women their rights back.
What's a woman?
You know, the most important thing that any of you can do today is to help get women their rights back.
I still don't know what a woman is.
The only way that's gonna happen is for you peasants out there to send me money.
I don't have any money.
I send myself money, but unfortunately I'm down to my last $130 million.
I don't even have lint in my pocket.
I'm struggling, okay? I know a lot of you out there don't even know what it's like to struggle, but I do.
I haven't eaten for 4 days.
But we're not here to talk about my struggle. We're here to talk about getting women's rights back.
What's a woman?
And the only way that's gonna happen is if you send me money.
I don't have any money.
I send myself money, but like I said, I got this scraping by with $130 million that I have.
I've been dehydrated for 4 days.
But I don't need my money. No, I need your money.
I can't even afford a gallon of gas.
Yeah, I know gas prices are high, food is expensive, and you probably don't even have a job right now.
I'm unemployed and homeless.
But if you want to make a difference, you want to get women their rights back, then do the right thing. Send me your money today.
What's a woman?
Good night, President!
I got a little message for you companies out there running gas stations. Stop it! Stop it right now! Bring down the price you're charging at the pump. Do it now! That's an order. Enough with this malarkey. Woo! Good thing I had my Twitter notifications on. All right, everybody, you heard the president. Drop the price of gas at $2 a gallon. Do it now! Yes, sir! You know, at first they told me to say Trump, Putin, and Russia. Now they're telling me to blame the gas companies. And I can't believe I gotta say this, but unlike the last president, I'm not gonna do my job. I'm not gonna take responsibility for anything. And I'm sure as hell gonna blame others. 'Cause this job isn't about you. It's about me. And people respect me for that. I campaigned on shutting down the oil industry. That's why I got 81 million votes. Because the people believe in me. Like I've said all along, I'm going to end the subsidies for fossil fuel corporations. I'm going to ban new drilling on federal land. I mean, you're going to buy an electric car whether you like it or not. You know, shutting down the Keystone Pipeline was just the beginning. This is what you voted for, America. You're welcome. So the next time you're at the pump, if you're not happy with the price, you tell that cashier that your president said, bring that price down. Do it now.
Yes, sir.
Do you just want to read the script, the whole script, and nothing but the script? To help you money? I do.
And action.
Mrs. Hutchinson, can you read the script and explain to the court what happened next?
Well, Donald Trump was angry because he lost. And then all of a sudden he yelled out, "Go, go, gadget arms." And that's when he stole the limousine.
Then what happened?
Oh, there was ketchup everywhere.
What?
He turned into like some gangster, and then he started acting all tough, and he started choking everybody, and then he started breakdancing.
Then what happened?
Well, I heard it from a friend, who heard it from a friend, who heard it from a friend, who said that my next-door neighbor's cousin's sister's boyfriend's 9th grade substitute teacher said a guy he met in the store once had a dog that got walked by a man who said that he thought he saw Trump snorting bleach that day.
That story sounds absolutely true. What else?
He just kept talking like a gangster.
Do you remember what he said?
He said...
I'm gonna make these Democrats an offer that they can't refuse. You know what I'm talking about?
You Democrats want to play rough? Okay. Say hello to my MAGA friend.
A Republican's always right, even when they're wrong. All I got in this world is my MAGA and my word. And I don't break them for no one. The Democrats want to mess with me? I'm gonna mess with Democrats. Someday, and that day is today, January 6th, I'll call upon you to do a service for me. Mrs. Hutchinson, is everything you've read from the script completely true?
Yes, it is.
No more questions! Excuse me! Would you like to donate a few bucks for the future of the liberal world order?
Hell no.
Alright, so here's the deal. If you guys don't chip in for the future of the liberal world order, I'm just going to continue to raise gas prices, even though I have no control over that. Wait.
And you need to buy an electric car.
Electric cars smell better than cow farts.
And electric cars are going to replace fuel by storing electricity from things like coal, uranium, natural gas, and diesel fuel generators. It's a no-brainer.
Alright, people, listen up. You need to buy an electric car so you can stop complaining about gas being so expensive. I mean, at this point, it's not my fault. It's yours. And Putin's.
A lot of you peasants out there complaining about gas prices obviously forgot how bad things actually were back in 2020. Let me refresh your memory.
Back in 2020, gas was only $1.93 a gallon. No wonder America's broke.
In 2020, there was like zero inflation. That's not how you grow a country.
In 2020, the supply chain was functioning well and the economy was stronger than it's ever been. How is that good?
In 2020, the border was secure, and almost everybody had a job, and interest rates were extremely low. But since I've been in office, y'all don't have to worry about that no more. You're welcome.
In 2020, the stock market was at an all-time high. Let me explain something to you peasants, okay? The stock market only works for me.
In like tell you. I'm like an eco-novelist, and giving workers back the money they earned is not helping anyone, okay?
It's your choice, peasants. Either donate to the new liberal world order, or just keep raising gas prices.
Yeah, because I'm not donating my salary. I'm donating yours. Guys, it's like totally simple, okay? Buy an electric car. That's an order! A new world liberal order.
All right, here's the deal. I'll build nothing back, and nothing is better. And that's what I call progress. Life comes at you pretty fast. That's why we take your money.
Tremendous liability for the Republican Party going forward, regardless of whether he announces today or whether he announces in 2024. The truth of the matter is you will find Republican candidates running full steam backward away from him because of the liabilities that have come as a result of Donald Trump. And I don't think you can ignore the realities that the personality and the policies that came as a result of Trump and the way the tectonic political plates shifted because of him in this country.
Well, the hearings are over for now, but as we heard, there's going to be more coming in September. Hopefully we'll have you guys on again. Antoine and Leslie, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're digging deeper into the president's COVID-19 diagnosis and the monkeypox outbreak here in the United States. Coming up, Emery and I will speak with Dr. Anthony Fauci to get an update on how the president is doing and the government's response to monkeypox. We'll be right back.
CBS News Sunday Morning with Jane Pauley on CBS.
Right? A generation of kids opens up on CBS Reports.
I just want to be like a regular kid.
Their world, their struggles, their voices.
What if I was white?
A lot of people like to call names and make you feel ashamed for being proud of who you are.
Now streaming Gender.
I did not realize that you could change your gender.
Realizing how you feel.
You can be a boy, and sometimes you feel like a girl, sometimes you feel like both.
Redefining who you are.
Identify as trans.
Gender fluid.
Non-binary and queer.
Is the idea of gender a thing of the past?
And to be yourself, always, no matter what anyone says, I love you.
Are the kids all right? Gender. Now streaming on the free CBS News app.
I'm Nora O'Donnell in our nation's capital. We're here at the White House with the President of the United States.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
We've never done an interview like this before.
That's correct.
Tonight, a congressional investigation sparked by reporting from CBS News. What's your message to consumers? They need help now. Tell them I feel it.
The CBS Evening News with Nora O'Donnell from Washington, D.C. on CBS and streaming on Paramount+.
We will witness yet another moment in history.
Want to go someplace new? Yeah, you do.
See something new.
Learn something new.
Meet someone new. Nate B in the house.
There's always something new under the sun.
CBS Mornings, weekdays.
When weather is about to get extreme.
We're talking about hail, we're talking about tornadoes, damaging wind.
Every second counts.
Let's now take a look at what that really means to you.
That's why CBS News and the Weather Channel have come together to bring you virtual weather technology so advanced, so real.
We can show you what it's going to look like when the storms come through.
You'll see what will happen, where it will happen, before it does. Feel the forecast on CBS News. Time to get prepared.
People from every corner of America facing challenges.
Everyone is just looking for some type of connection.
Just raise your hand and say, hey, I'd like to help.
Coming together to find solutions.
We are going to do something about it.
Their stories are our stories.
Welcome to Eye on America.
Stream now on the free CBS News app.
CBS News Sunday Morning with Jane Pauley on CBS.
We have an inspiring story that started with a strange act of kindness.
We found it.
We share stories that lift you up and brighten your day.
The Uplift. Stream on the free CBS News app.
Stories that inform, inspire, and brighten your day.
I've been waiting patiently.
Hey!
actions, both past and present, are incompatible with my duty as chairman of this committee, which alone in the House of Representatives has the obligation and authority to provide effective oversight of the U.S. intelligence community. As such, we have no faith in your ability to discharge your duties in a manner consistent with your constitutional responsibility and urge your immediate resignation as chairman of the committee. Mr. Chairman, this letter is signed by all 9 members on the Republican side of the House, but of the committee, and I ask unanimous consent to be entered into the record of today's hearing. I yield back.
Without objection, I'm going to turn to our witnesses who are the subject of the hearing today, but before I do, and as you have chosen, instead of addressing the hearing to simply attack me, consistent with the President's attacks, I do want to respond in this way.
Thank you. Since the chairman has gavelled out all of my colleagues with their unanimous consent, I am going to read for the record many of the chairman's comments in September of the importance of hearing from the whistleblower. Again, Ambassador, thank you for your patience, thank you for your service, but since we haven't been able to conduct ourselves in normal procedures, I'm just going to use the 5 minutes for this. September 29th, in the Wall Street Journal, quote, the whistleblower at the center of the impeachment investigation of President Trump will testify in the House very soon. This is a quote by the chairman. USA Today, September 29th, talking with ABC News this week, Schiff, the Democrat who chairs the House Intelligence Committee, said the whistleblower would testify very soon. And the only thing standing in the way was getting security clearances for the attorneys representing the whistleblower so they can attend the testimony. From Fox, September 29th, Rep. Adam Schiff said Sunday the whistleblower at the center of a growing scandal surrounding President Donald Trump will testify before the House Intelligence Committee very soon. On CNN, September 29th, Schiff said Sunday on ABC as well as NBC's Meet the Press that he expects the whistleblower to testify very soon. The Washington Post, September 29th. In an appearance on ABC News this week, Schiff echoed Pelosi's message. He also said he expected the Intelligence Committee to hear from the whistleblower very soon, pending a security clearance from Acting Director of National Intelligence Joseph McGuire. In the Huffington Post, Schiff told ABC's this week that he expects the whistleblower to appear before this committee very soon. In the New York Post, quote, we'll get the unfiltered testimony of that whistleblower. In the Washington Times, quote, that whistleblower will be allowed to come in. These are all quotes from Chairman Adam Schiff. In Talking Points memo, the question was posed, actually this was by George Stephanopoulos, have you reached an agreement yet with the whistleblower and his or her attorneys about coming before the committee, providing the information firsthand? Quote, yes we have, Schiff responded, and as DNI McGuire promised during the hearing, that whistleblower will be allowed to come in and come in without a minder from the Justice Department or from the White House to tell the whistleblower what they can and cannot say. We'll get the unfiltered testimony of that whistleblower. Daily Kos, we're ready to hear from the whistleblower as soon as that is done, and we'll keep obviously riding shotgun to make sure that the acting director doesn't delay in that clearance process. CNBC, we'll get the unfiltered testimony of that whistleblower. In Market Watch, House Intelligence Committee Chairman Adam Schiff said Sunday that an agreement has been reached under which the whistleblower will testify before the committee very soon. I can keep going, but again, the chairman refused to allow us to put these into the record with unanimous consent. So I've read those out, and as we know, it is important to protect whistleblowers from retaliation and from firing. And we want to make sure whistleblowers are able to come forward. But in this case, the fact that we are getting criticized by Chairman Adam Schiff for statements that he himself made early on in this process shows the duplicity and just the abuse of power that we are continuing to see. With a minute 54 seconds left, I'll yield to my colleague, Mr. Jordan.
Royce, you strike the last word.
The gentleman is recognized.
As a gentlelady, the other side of the aisle knows, I too live in Texas. Raised my son, daughter to respect firearms. We shoot them frequently on our property. We shoot semi-automatic weapons on my property. I teach my children how to use them safely. I teach them what they're used for, why we have the ability to have firearms. And yes, we use it for hunting. My son shot his first deer. Briefly.
Yeah, very question. What do you use semi-automatic weapons for?
I use semi-automatic weapons to kill hogs. I use semi-automatic weapons for sport and shooting on our property. But I also have semi-automatic weapons, and I'm getting to the point. Because a semi-automatic weapon is a weapon that you can use for self-defense. It is a semi-automatic weapon that you can use to defend yourself against home invaders, but also, let's be clear, against tyranny. Gentlelady's talking about the Second Amendment in the context of hunting, as if my rights are reduced in the Constitution to a 410 or a single shot or lever action 22. As if that was what was expressly put forth as how we're supposed to be defending ourselves. And let me go ahead and finish my...
Starting off this countdown, we have the warning. This individual actually received a signal from his parallel universe self, and had he not, he might have actually died. So the narrator, who wants to remain anonymous, let's call him Robbie, was out walking one day when he saw a version of himself across the street. At first, he thought he was just seeing things, but surely, right across the street was himself, just staring at him. He was dressed in identical clothing and everything. Robbie stopped and stared at him when all of a sudden his twin yelled out, "Run!" At that moment, a car came hurtling towards Robbie's twin. He saw himself get hit by the car, so he turned and he ran. And it's a good thing that he did, because seconds later, that same car came hurtling towards him. He looked back and Robbie in the car that hit him was gone, but there was a real accident that occurred right in front of his eyes. Had he not run, he would have been hit and killed. So he believes that his parallel universe self saved himself from dying. In our 9th spot today, we have the reverse signals. In 2016 and in 2018, scientists in Antarctica discovered radio pulses being emitted from the ground. The radio pulses detected high-energy neutrinos and were discovered by the Antarctic Impulsive Transient Antenna, otherwise known as ANITA. But here's the weird thing. The signals were coming up out of the Earth and heading towards the sky. Since the signals were coming up from the Earth instead of down from space, people believe that they may be traveling back in time and therefore from a parallel universe. For this universe, the Big Bang represents the end and not the beginning. Coming in at number 8, we have Euronymous. This story really freaking gives me the creeps. Basically, a Norwegian black metal fan believes that he's stuck in the wrong universe. So the story was posted by I Love Transylvania on Reddit. They asked for help and advice. It all started when he woke up and found out that his favorite musician, Euronymous, had died. But not recently. He died in 1993. Immediately, he thought that this was some kind of joke because just recently he had seen him in concert. The year he saw him was 2013, which is 20 years after his death, which is physically impossible. Not only that, but in the early 2000s, he bumped into him in a shop and even bought a record from him there. Not only that, but he can't seem to get in contact with any of his friends. He tries calling and texting, but their numbers are all out of service. So this guy either thinks he's going insane, or he somehow got transported to another universe, our current one, in which Euronymous passed away in 1993. In our 7th spot today, we have the Man from Torrid. Now, this might be a perfect example of some accidental dimension jumping. Now, you might be sick of hearing me talk about this story, but it literally blows my mind.
Pandora!
So I'm sharing
Stop!
it again. For those of you who
Good
don't
boy,
know,
Trumpet. Good girl, Rocksteady. Good girl.
In Tokyo, Japan. When he was questioned at customs, he said he was from a place called Torrid. However, as we know, Torrid is not a real place. So immediately the officers were like, red flag, detain him. Later he was placed in a hotel and was monitored by 2 guards. In the hotel, his room was placed high up and there was only one entry and exit point. Yet he still managed to escape. How he managed to escape is physically impossible. So, some people think that Torrid is a real place, but it's located in a different universe. And this man somehow passed through a parallel dimension and ended up at the airport. Others think that it's all just a made-up legend. If so, then why did the story get international news and wind up in the papers? I don't know, it's up to you. You believe whatever, but I think it's freaking creepy. Coming in at number 6, we have the parallel drivers. You're about to notice a trend here. A number of parallel universe stories feature cars and car accidents. It's quite weird. Like this one. So this next guy was visiting his grandparents when he was almost hit by a car. So he was in a car park when a car nearly hit him and another car. As the car passed him, he got a look at the passengers. And that's when he knew that something was very off. In the car, there were 3 passengers, a woman, her daughter, and a male driver. What was weird is that they were all staring, looking forward, with no emotion on their face whatsoever. It looked as if they were all just zoned out or in another world, maybe quite literally. As the car continued driving by, he realized that it was his family's car. Freaking out, thinking that their car had been stolen, he ran to his family, only to find the car parked in the grandparents' driveway. Now, I don't have an explanation for this one. I really don't. But it seems like the people in that car were from another dimension and were unaware that they were appearing elsewhere. Seems like the 2 universes might have merged for that second. We're now at our 5th and halfway mark with déjà vu. After all this time, scientists don't have a clear explanation for déjà vu. They believe that everyday déjà vu experiences might be linked to the memories in our temporal area, but they have yet to prove this or come up with any other explanations. Others believe that déjà vu occurs when different universes are in sync for a short period of time. For example, maybe in one universe you picked up a bottle of wine to pour yourself a glass, but maybe a different version of yourself in another universe picked up a beer. This happened at the same time, so you're in sync for that moment. And that's when you get that feeling, like, didn't I just do this? It's because your other self did something similar. Coming in at number 4, we have precognitive dreams. Precognitive dreams are dreams that can predict the future, or they can provide you with information that you wouldn't have otherwise known. There are a number of people that have had this happen to them, including myself. I've had dreams and then the next day it's come true, and there's no possible way for me to have known that this was going to happen. In fact, we have a whole series on dreams that have predicted the future, so if you want, check that out as well. Anyways, one theory is that these dreams are signals from your other self in a different universe. Maybe something is about to happen in your life and has already happened in their life. Or they're sending you a signal in your sleep to warn you about upcoming dangers. Moving on to number 3, we have the change of route. A couple of years ago, the next narrator was walking to work one day when they all of a sudden had an urge to take a different path. Every day they took the same route, but today they decided to go down a different way. So they turned and went down an alley. Now, I mean, any normal person would be like, no, don't go down that creepy dark alley, you're gonna get mugged or killed. But something was telling this guy that he needed to go down that way. So he did. And that's when he zoned out. He said that his mind went scrambled. He also said, and I quote, "I felt like I didn't have a body anymore, just that I was a semi-conscious entity floating through some weird dimension. All of a sudden, in the array of different colors and shapes, a vision came to me. It was a bunch of strange-looking people that in my mind resembled businessmen in suits. They looked startled and panicked that I could see them. One of the people made a quick movement and everything turned black. Then when he snapped out of this, he found himself on a completely different street, back on his way to work." I don't have an explanation for this. Honestly, it seems like for a split second he was looking into another universe or something though. In our second spot, we have the close call. Several years ago, this guy worked at Little Caesars Pizza. He worked as one of those sign spinners, you know, to get people into the store. One day, while sign spinning, he saw a van heading straight at him. It drove over the curb and hit him directly. He felt it crush him against the street post. Then everything turned black. All of a sudden, he gasped and he was awake and still alive. He's still on the corner and he's still holding his sign. No car was there, he was alive. Since he was shaken from the experience, he decided to go inside the store for his break. As he walked away, he heard a loud crash. As he turned around, he saw the same van crash into the street post where he had been standing. So maybe in another universe, he died from that car crash. In this universe, he survived. And in our number 1 spot today, we have the portal. There's a cabin in the Marcahuasi Stone Forest in Peru that apparently is a ticket to another dimension. This story was told by a woman who one day was out camping in the forest with her friends. That's when they heard music coming from another area in the forest, so they decided to follow the sound and check it out. Then they came across a small stone cabin. It was illuminated by torches. What was weird is that they could see in through the windows, and the people inside were wearing 17th century fashion. The women, being curious, decided to go check it out. In fact, one of the friends was a little too curious, and she tried entering the cabin. She stepped foot inside when her friend pulled her away. Instantly, half of her body became paralyzed. It was the half that entered the cabin. To this day, she still remains paralyzed on that side of her body. So it's believed that this cabin would have taken them to another dimension. Since half of her body entered another dimension and then was yanked out, it threw off her nervous system, resulting in her partial paralysis. Starting off this countdown, we have the new reality. There are a number of real people out there that have gone to bed and woke up in a completely different universe or reality. One where things are the same, but slightly different. Now, if you have seen our other videos, we have talked in depth about some of these stories, like the woman named Lorena Garcia. One day she woke up with a completely different job, was with the same company, just a different position, and she had a completely different boyfriend. Her former boyfriend just disappeared without a trace. And now she's stuck in this timeline versus her old one. Then you have a man that woke up and all of a sudden he was a fisherman. He spent the day living a different life, and the next day he was back to his old self. Now, no one knows what causes this to happen, but it personally terrifies me. What if I accidentally universe jump to a place where I'm unhappy, or my life is just completely different? Plus, no one would believe me. You know, they would label me as crazy. In our ninth spot today, we have the Mandela effect. The Mandela effect is a huge signal from a parallel universe. For those of you who don't know, it is named after Nelson Mandela. This is because people remember him dying in prison in the 80s, when, in this reality, he didn't pass away until 2013. Now, what's weird is I personally was taught in school that he died in prison in the 80s. We even had a school assembly on him, and they taught us that. So theory goes that in one universe, Nelson Mandela did actually pass away in the 80s, and in another universe, he passed away in 2013. Somehow, the universes ended up overlapping or merging somehow, which is why some people remember him dying in the 80s and others in the 2000s. Now, there's a number of other examples. Like, okay, here's a good one. Do you all remember in Star Wars, Darth Vader saying, "Luke, I am your father"? I do. No, he never actually said that. He says, "No, I am your father," not even Luke. Also, you got the whole Berenstain Bears versus the Berenstain Bears. My whole life, it was the Steen Bears, not the Stain Bears. But, you know, whatever. Check out our other videos on Mandela effects if you want to learn more. It's actually wild. Move on to number 8, we have the Green Children of Woolpit. Now, this story has always left me unsettled. There's no explanation.
Man, it's been nice knowing Nate.
If you were a giant in
You'd think that vehicles collide.
If we get married and you live longer than me,
maybe she replaces first.
I'm at the point with this country that, like, all this 4th of July decorations.
Leave that alone.
The American flag make you feel now?
And there are massive fireworks going